Alright, hey guys, I'm Matt Lighty. In this video I'll be loosely talking about how I keep my shit organized and yeah, how I prepare for a merge. We have a merge coming up soon, which is a big day. That's when the League content merges with Standard. Since I play solo self and exclusively, resource hoarding and resource management is a big part of it, so getting all my ducks in a row feels great ahead of time. Now, let me first show you my Standard stash, and this is where everything comes into. This is the end result, if you will. You can see I have a plethora of higher tier currency because I tend to, like I said, hoard things or stash things, but a lot of it's based off of specialty tabs. Now, specialty tabs can be purchased from the microtransaction shop under the stash tab section, and a lot of them are a little pricey. It's not cheap. Path of Exile is a free game. You could easily make the argument this is the only, not pay to win, but only like advantageous purchasable thing, is things such as the currency tab, even like a map tab. But there's tabs for a lot of different mechanics. I would suggest purchasing just one of each specialty tab, which means one fragment, one divination, essence, one currency, yada yada. But the big ones I would say are probably currency, map, divination, and fragment. I think those take up the most room. Maybe coming in next is unique, but unique is a lot more expensive. That being the case, I would highly suggest to never purchase tabs unless they're on sale. Now, if we pop over to Reddit real quick, flashbang, on the right side they have stash tab sale dates in PDT. It tells you the last known sale date section, which was June 4th to the 7th. We're currently in July, so June 4th to the 7th was the previous weekend to this. Normally they're in 3 weekend cycles, so we're looking like probably the 16th, 17th, and 18th will be the next stash tab sale. So just keep in mind they're normally in about 3 weeks to a month cycles, and definitely purchase them only on those events if you're going to purchase tabs. That being said, back to the main show. Currency tab, standard, map tab, standard. If you don't know what the allocation system are, you can right click, hit things to the affinity section currency on. This means that when I put in currency, if I shift control left click, it automatically goes in the right spot instead of being dumped in whatever tab I wanted to. If I want it to be dumped in a specific tab and forgo the affinity section, if you hold control shift and left click, poop, it puts it in the tab you're on right now. So control left click to be in the proper tab, control shift left click to go into whatever tab you're looking at. Now I keep one of each specialty tab. I have just a random tab which has like my premium top tier content. I really just keep awakened gems in here, specific good jewels, interesting synthesis bases, some like ridiculous rare crafts, maybe watchstones, vials, extra blessings, this sort of stuff pretty much. Feathers, got a timeless jewel, got a prismatic, all the cool shit. We have my unique tab, we have the essence tab, which I tend to try to upgrade and keep it clean if I can. Delve tab, which I keep delve crafts in. Rares, this is where I keep my top tier rares. This is a custom premium tab. Gems, and then just more gems. I only really keep gems that are either 2120 or something along those lines, 2023s, that sort of stuff. We try to keep the most premium gems in the standard because, again, there's no point to have extra ones unless you're going to make and level them yourself. Prophecies, I only keep high tier chain prophecies and high tier things I might want to avow, like Hyria's Bite for the Hyria's Quiver, or Twice Enchanted. So prophecies, there's no prophecy tab. You only want to keep the most premium prophecies if possible. We're talking about trying to conserve our space. I have a bunch of extra unique tabs. These are just high tier. I would put high tier uniques. Things like Arakali's Fang, or Shavs, or Aegis Aurora, things that I would, Death Store, things that I would want multiple copies of, maybe because of double corrupting or specific build to get certain implicits, but it's going to be really hard to re-get these in a short notice. If I keep a tab full of, these bad boys here, all the Shaper Elder Rings, extra Hand of the Fervent, you get the idea. And then we have the oils. This is the Blight tab, which has our Blight maps and our Blight oils. You can anoint straight from here. You can upgrade straight from here as well. Metamorph tab, unfortunately, only holds about 50 of each organ, but yeah, you could also use the recipe to trade up organs. I have my catalyst in here and that sort of stuff. Synthesis rings. This is a tab. I'm pretty organized, but I have some random stuff here. Again, like things like bestiary lures, I keep in the same tab as synthesis rings. But this is where I have multiple copies of different synthesis rings in case specific builds might need specific subsets. Like this one needs fire res and needs reservation, which is weird, but yeah. Delirium tab keeps my Delirium Orbis, my Simulacrums, and my Simulacrum Splinters. Jewels, I have a tab for my unique jewels. You never know which ones you might need, especially with Watcher's Eyes and Megalomaniacs. Certain combinations, split personalities, timeless jewels. These things that unfortunately don't stack, but you might need different permutations of. Overflow of more jewels, again, similar to the same thing. Thread of Hopes. A lot of these are jewels that only have specific corruptions, like Corrupting Blood or Reservation on them. These are things you want to have, if possible, on all unique jewels. If you're collecting Soul Self-Found, anytime you see any jewel drop, like Long Winter, I don't care if you're playing, you've never played a Glacial Cascade build in your life. If you're planning on collecting in the long-term sense, you pretty much want to have one copy of each jewel that has at least one that has Reservation, and then one that has Corrupting Blood. Those are the big two ones. You can get other things like, maybe like Hinder or something like that. That's cool too. But you want at least one Reservation, one Corrupting Blood on each. Cluster jewels, and I have some, this is where I store some of my specialty bases, like influenced ritual bases, just overflow for rares. More cluster jewels, again, they don't stack, and it's annoying to keep, but we need them. Then I have 2 dump tabs. Now the dump tabs are important because they always give me something to do if I'm ever bored. But a lot of these are just extra overflow for uniques that I would be, again, hard to reacquire if need be, like Viridia's Veil or maybe even specific Beacon of Madness. Again, they're just good rares. But it's always good to have a couple dump tabs, things to work through, things to go through. Give yourself a little project. You don't want to get anything more than 2. 2 is enough of a fucking headache, but yeah, 2 is about the limit for me. This is where when I merge, if I don't know where to put stuff, I put stuff in here, but I also try to spend a little bit of time before League starts and keep this organized. Again, things like this jewel can very easily go in my jewel tab, as I'm being a good boy. I have unique contracts. I try to keep as many as I can. I don't like to put them so much in my actual stash for my contracts because I simply have too many. Really, I should just not be collecting these, but at this point, I kind of just want to get a tab full because it's fun. I-86 specific expensive or high-tier crafts along with extra overflow for clusters. Again, clusters are one of those things that's like, oh, you want to toss them out, but, I'm not going to vendor things like this, like specific 3 passives or 8 passive things or, the right combination. So, I have overflow for my some of my nicer harvest crafts maybe. I just want to keep in here, but just almost have so much room. Harbinger items, these are where I keep my partially completed Harbingers with scrolls, or even upgraded versions with scrolls, or just fragments and cells in case I need to do them for like bestiary or something. I don't know, some type of thing. My blood vessels, these are my blood-filled vessels from Ritual. I try to keep a nice stash of these and add to it when I can. These are my watchstones for specific zones. Again, same situation. I know exactly what I have for some zones. Like for Tierns, I have all my stones crafted perfect, yada yada, for platinums. What if I do want to swap to something? What if chromium becomes better? I'd like to literally have 4 copies of each stone for each section if possible. Anything more than that's extra, but I don't really keep track. I just want to keep it if possible, and I keep these specialty invitations for whenever I can do those and do some extra mavens. And that's it. That's the end of the line. Except it's kind of not. In Standard, there's an option for hiding remove-only tabs, and if I click this off, you'll see that I do have some remove-only tabs. Now, I've moved them to the bottom, but these are overflow for excess currency. In a way, I have no real need to remove this shit from here. I have 5,000 chisels in there. If I ever need more chisels, if I run out of the 2,000 I have over here, I can always come over here and just be like, oh, I'll take a couple out, and then I come over here, and then guess what? I put them right back in there, and I'm good to go. If that's the case, that's fine. Same thing goes for certain divination cards. If I need sac frags, I have infinite there. And maps, I have infinite maps in multiple sections. But yeah, there's no way to delete these. If I could, probably I would. But you can have the option now to hide them and to make it just look nice. Now let's hop over to League. Let me show you what the process for what I'm going to have to do for organizing is going to look like. That's going to be a whole thing. So I am now in the League, which is what I have to keep organized for when the merge occurs. Now this is involved in a multiple sets. What I like to do is I like to vendor all my maps if I can up to red maps. Thankfully I've been rushing Trial Master so much that I'm I'm almost going to come clean in my dream, which is having no maps at League End. But aside from that, keeping things organized that are outside of specialty tabs. So really what it means is keeping the tabs like this one under lock. This is where I'll go through every single rare I have and be like, I was keeping this because of League, but in Standard is really necessary. Not at all. This is not something I want to keep in Standard, so I would delete that. Or I'd vendor it. You go through the process, same thing. Oh, here, it's got double res, it's got stats, it's got move speed. Yeah, but you know what? Is this 6 tier 1? No? Cool. I wouldn't want it in Standard. Out of here. I go through that process in its entirety. Good way of staying organized, good way of staying clean. I do the same thing with like any other tabs I have, like bases. I was keeping ID6 bases, or prophecies, or extra uniques. I'm basically trying to keep as organized as possible for myself when the merge happens, because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm sitting over here looking through individual stuff. So prior to the merge occurring, this is a good thing to do. Clear off all your shit for your tabs, so everything is nice and pristine. And it's really simple then, because you end up just hitting Control left click and just like doing this, and then dropping it all in your tab, because it's going to be auto navigated thanks to your new affinity section we have added on. But yeah, that about honestly wraps up how I stay organized. As far as all this stuff, I kind of just keep the things in corners and segregate it, if you will. Not the greatest term, but yeah, that's how I go about it. And I stay organized in League as much as I can. Basically, between every 3 or 4 maps even, I'll bank. I keep everything as it is. I don't like having dump tabs in League. I think it's a bad habit in general, because, why panic and look like everything's falling to shit? Like, people who say that you have to, keep mapping, and then organize at the end. Honestly, it's the same amount of time. I've done both. There's no difference in time, whether you're dumping at the end or you're organizing as you go. I prefer organizing as I go, and to me, it leads to a much cleaner path experience. One more thing I like to mention is bestiary. Bestiary is an interesting thing because there's actually a hidden mechanic here that fucks everybody over. There is a limit to the amount of red beast you can have. I'm not sure the exact number is. I think it's 100 and something, or 200 and something. Maybe it's 500, who knows. There's a limit though. So, I have beasts like this that have create an item, and since I'm only missing 2 items I can even get from bestiary in the entire game at the moment, I would like to run those, and everything else kind of gets tossed to the wind. And that's fine, but we have a lot of things that I want to possibly stash away. So a good way to go about this is things like these. I don't really feel like running. Like, it's a fusing fine, but I'm not going to sit here and run 9 fusing and spend like a couple minutes of my life. So we identify what the beasts are, and we purchase the bestiary orbs. So we grab these from here, purchase a stack of 10, they cost a chaos each, and they vendor for an elk each. Good to know, I guess. We identify which ones we have, so we'll choose Sakawinaroa. That's the chromatic one, right? We open up our League tab here, click on Recipes, click on, Captured Beasts. So looking for Sakawinaroa, okay? RHOA. It has a matching picture. You see the picture? Left click or right click the orb, left click the bird, boom, there it is. So now we've lost one. And I pretty much just do these for all the shitters that I don't want. Again, only the red beast. And they'll have the pictures, boom. And now I no longer have that, and no longer will occupy a spot, which is all I really care about. So I'll type in like shield crab, for example. There are my 5 shield crabs. I can do the same thing. If you want to save these, you can. If you want to make a tab for them, you can. I personally do not, so I don't. But it's totally up to you. You just go through this entire process, and these are all the ones I don't want. There's no way to release them automatically. This is the only way you can really go about it. And then I just vendor them, and I turn those chaos into alks, apparently. So it's not a very profitable process, but it's my way of staying organized and staying clean. And it makes sure I only keep the best things, which is the creation of unique items, imprints. I don't keep 30 qualities, I don't keep rerolls, I don't keep any of this shit. I'll keep these add removed prefixes, and then I'll keep obviously the bestiary bosses. But yeah, aside from that, that's pretty much how I do my bestiary prior to League merge. So yeah, that about wraps it up. That's how I stay organized for playing path with my stash, and I prep for the merge. I hope this helped in some way, shape, or form. If you have any questions about how I go about things, feel free to ask. If not, I will see you guys on the big merge stream on Monday when the merge happens, I believe. Monday or Tuesday, one of the 2 days. We'll be live through the entire process. It takes about 4 or 5 hours, and it ends with a lot of fun times for div card hand-ins and unique completions and progressing certain categories that we're missing, etc. So always a fun time, always a fun stream. And I hope to see you guys there. And yeah, good luck in your last few moments of Ultimatum. I'm still looking for a glove, so I'll see you guys soon. Lighty out. Bye-bye.